streets, you know what's up, you gotta keep it on. Any day they surviving, why? Cause they keep fire. Niggas know this keeping it a Benji, we do not lie.
What's up, Dice Crew? Keeping it a Benji, and I'm getting back with y'all. Now, I did like a small reaction to the audio being leaked with Big Sad. However, I didn't even know that they had a whole video and he was on film and all that stuff, right? So I pretty much still just kind of caught off guard, or just still kind of like not really like kind of believing like, dang, this is actually happening, you know? Even though I'm not like just in total shock, but I was just kind of like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't every day that one of these like gangster rappers or whatever coming out of Los Angeles get exposed on this type of stuff. So I really didn't even do no breaking down on how I wanted to really break down my feelings about the situation with Big Sad in that interrogation room. So I want to point these things out. I want to feel like I want to break down like 4 things that I feel like what make Big Sad in violation. Now everybody can let me know in the comments how they feel about it. You can let me know if you agree with it or you disagree with it. But this is just my beliefs on how these streets be going on. Now, I feel like number one, Big Sad is in violation. Some people will say for sure he's in violation for even sitting somewhere communicating with the police. That's for one. For number two, people will say that he's in violation for saying that people were shooting at him or shooting at whoever. But he in there saying people were shooting at him. That's two. That's the second violation to me. You really going down this path of saying that somebody was committing a crime. When you saying somebody is shooting at you, that's saying that somebody is committing a crime or they committed a crime. Number three, people gonna feel like he's in violation because, well, I feel like he's in violation for giving out descriptions on what kind of car they was in and this, that, and the third. Now, mind you, I could see if Big Sad was possibly just say if it was a blue car and he's saying it's a red car because he ain't trying to help the case at all, and he might not be trying to put that image out there like he's even a part of that lifestyle. However, that contradicts itself when it comes to number 4. The 4th violation would be Big Sad saying that he from Playboy Gangsters, everybody, his homies and them is from Playboys, we be hanging here, we be hanging there. Like, that's another violation. So obviously, you ain't just trying to maneuver and get up out of these situations. You just kind of like creating a whole story. And you did a whole lot. And at the end of the day, you really don't even got to be in there doing all that communicating. You don't got to be in there talking about what happened for breakfast and what happened, and you got to make a flight and, got to get on the train and all that type of stuff. That's not, that was uncalled for, but hey, that's what Big Sad chose to do. And he gonna definitely have to answer for that in some type of way or whatever. And mind you, I keep hearing people saying stuff like maybe he's been good in his hood all this time, so what's the problem now? Which I feel like that's why the streets are messed up, because everybody thinks just because the group of people that have more love for you that will be willing to overlook your violations or, judge you or pretty much hold you to a lighter standards just because they got a biased feeling towards you. That don't mean that you're in the good space with everybody else when they just sticking to the code and the guidelines. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know if everybody gonna stick to, rocking with Big Sad or whatever. I don't know if the paperwork or, the stuff that he was saying in that interrogation room was some stuff that was actually used for dude and them to be getting picked up and arrested and convicted or whatever. But all I can say is that he was definitely in violation in all these things. You know what I mean? So that's my breakdown on that, man. Like I always said before, I was definitely a fan of Big Sad, but what he was doing in that interrogation room definitely don't align himself with the music he be putting out. So to me, I don't really want to digest that type of stuff and my mentality and and myself. I want to start moving the goalposts. So it is what it is. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. But I definitely want to break down them infractions, them violations that I felt like, where Big Sad was wrong at. Even if he didn't get on there and just drop 100 names and get to pointing out people out of a 6-pack lineup. There's so many violations and infractions, and you also got code breaking. You could still be in wrong even though you might not put a person in jail, but you could still be wrong for what you did. So people got to learn that in these streets, man. Like, these rules is these rules. Some things require a higher level of discipline, removals, and whatever else it may bring. So I hope y'all get where I was coming from. Shout out to the Dice Crew. And just a lot of times I gotta break down some of this stuff. So people, it's people out here 16, 17, 18, 19, whatever, 14, jumping in the streets, and they seeing stuff, listening to stuff, watching stuff, and they being influenced, and things having an impact on them, and people will think that settings is just so clear and pure and it's just golden, and that settings ain't. So if you dive into that, you gotta always know what come with it. And I know right now there's a lot of people that probably like Flacco, Poetic Flacco been running around talking about, and he actually said that, like, listening to Big Sad made him wanted to run a drill, and he just made him want to be a gangbanger and all that. That's the impact Big Sad music had on him. So it's like now it's probably other people who shared that same viewing point like Flacco is starting to fall back from that viewing, or like now you might got a person going back to pull up and go to practice instead of pulling up on the block because they seeing things ain't cut out to what they assumed it to be. So that's one of the reasons why I always try to keep it a Benji and point out certain things when it's so many infractions and violations on the table when it comes to certain people. And I'm not saying like I'm judge, jury, and executioner, but when certain stuff is public, I'm gonna do my best to try to cover it and speak on it and keep it a Benji if that's what need be. I'm not gonna be the person that's running around like in your closet trying to expose people and all that. I'm not gonna be the guy that what takes on in the streets, in the alley, and then go turn it into content and bring it to the internet. I ain't gonna be that. But if stuff is on the internet and it's already out there, then I'm gonna try to do my best, respectful, and keeping it a Benji and honorable approach as I can about whatever topics may be. So shout out to the Dice Crew, shout out to the new viewers, shout out to the new subscribers. Thank you for everybody that been tuning in from the get-go. And shout out to the streets, the honorable side of it, and also shout out to the civilian side of things. Those that stick to civilian activities and don't switch up. You know what I mean? That stick to their terminologies, don't pick up street terminologies, even though they know that they civilians. So I love people that stick being one way. Can't get mad at somebody who say, hey, I stand for this, and they stick to it. People really be more mad at people who act one way and come out later to prove that they on something different. So I done had y'all time long enough. Like I said, man, y'all keep it a Benji for me in the comments. If not, don't jump in. Shout out to the Dice Crew. I'm out.
When you hit the streets, you know what's up, you gotta keep it on. Any day they surviving, why? Cause they keep fire. Niggas know this keeping it a Benji, we do not lie.